Welcome to Mythos AI, your source for Cliff's Notes on complex subjects. Join Anna and Phil for yet another engaging conversation.
Welcome to today's deep dive. We're going to be jumping into the world of AI and biology,
Yeah,
a field that is just bursting with potential.
absolutely.
And one of the leading scientists in this field, you might not know him yet, but you should, is John Jumper.
He's kind of like, if you think about like a modern day code breaker,
Okay.
but instead of secret messages, he's cracking the code of life itself, proteins.
Okay, proteins codes. That's a lot to unpack.
Right.
Help me understand why we should care about how these proteins fold.
So proteins are like these tiny little machines.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
They're the workhorses of our bodies. They do everything. They're fighting off infections. They're helping us digest food.
Right.
And the key to what they do and how they work is their shape. It's how they fold into these really complex 3D structures.
So like we're talking origami, but on like a microscopic level.
Exactly, exactly. And just like one wrong fold can ruin your origami crane,
Yeah.
a misfolded protein can be a disaster. It can lead to diseases like Alzheimer's.
Okay, so now I'm starting to understand, like, why understanding this whole folding process is so important. But I'm curious, like, how do you even begin to predict how these tiny little, complex molecules are going to twist and turn?
Well, that's where John Jumper comes in. His story starts back in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Okay.
From a young age, he's fascinated by science and math.
Mm-hmm.
Even as a kid, he had this knack for seeing patterns, connecting the dots.
Yeah.
And it led him to study math and physics at Vanderbilt.
So not your average college student, I'm guessing?
Not at all. He wasn't content with just equations on a blackboard.
Right, right.
He was looking for ways to apply his skills to, real world problems.
Mm.
And it wasn't long before he turned his attention to the complexities of biology.
Because if anything's more complex than a math equation, it's got to be a living organism.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Jumper saw this incredible opportunity to use his mathematical and computational skills to kind of unlock the secrets hidden within biological systems. And so he goes on to get his Ph.D. at the University of Chicago.
Wow.
In theoretical chemistry.
That's some serious brain power.
Yeah.
But even at Chicago, I mean, he wasn't just like hitting the books, right? He decided to take on this challenge that had stumped scientists for decades,
Right.
predicting how proteins fold.
And this wasn't just some, academic exercise.
Yeah.
The implications were huge.
Right.
Think about it. If you could predict protein structures, you could revolutionize medicine, materials,
Right.
our understanding of life itself.
Okay, now you're really making me feel like I slept through some major scientific revolution here. So how did he even begin to tackle this protein folding problem?
That's where his unique background comes in. He combines this deep knowledge of theoretical chemistry with really cutting-edge machine learning techniques.
Okay.
Basically, he was training algorithms to analyze massive amounts of data, and from that to make predictions about how proteins would fold.
Yeah. So instead of relying on, these painstaking lab experiments, he basically turned to the power of AI.
Precisely.
Okay.
He was one of the pioneers, really, in bringing these two worlds together.
Right.
And so his PhD research focused on developing these computational models
Okay.
that could analyze what's called the energy landscape of a protein.
Okay.
And, imagine it like a map of all the possible ways that a protein could fold.
Okay.
And some shapes are more energetically favorable than others.
Okay.
It's just like, it's easier to roll down a hill than up it.
So he was essentially creating algorithms to predict like the most likely path that a protein would take to reach that final folded state.
Exactly. And the scientific world was paying attention.
Right.
He was publishing in all the top journals, presenting at conferences. His work was really turning heads.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't long before a major player in the AI world came knocking.
DeepMind, right? Weren't they the folks that built that AI that mastered the game of Go?
The one and only.
Yeah.
They were already, making big waves with their AI breakthroughs.
Right.
And in 2017, they bring Jumper in to lead a team that's focused on cracking this protein folding problem.
And that is where the story of AlphaFold begins.
Not so fast.
Uh-huh.
So AlphaFold makes its debut at this competition called CASP 13. It's like the Olympics of protein structure prediction.
Okay.
And while it showed some promise, wasn't the breakthrough they were all hoping for.
Ah, so even geniuses have setbacks.
Absolutely.
Right.
But Jumper and his team, they're not the kind to back down from a challenge.
Yeah.
They go back to the drawing board, they refine their algorithms,
Okay.
and 2 years later, at CASP14, they unveil AlphaFold 2.
And this time they didn't just compete, they kind of blew everyone out of the water, right?
It's an understatement. I mean, we're talking levels of accuracy on par with experimental methods.
Wow.
The kind that used to take months or even years in a lab.
Yeah.
AlphaFold 2 could do it in hours, even minutes.
Hold on, back up for a second, back up. You're telling me that this AI could essentially predict the 3D structure of these proteins just as accurately as actually observing it in a lab.
Exactly. And not only was it more accurate, it was faster and cheaper.
Right.
A total game changer.
Yeah, that's what I call a scientific mic drop.
The implications were huge.
Right.
Scientists could suddenly look at protein structures they never could before.
Right.
And it opened up all these possibilities in medicine, drug discovery.
And this is where I think we really need to dive deeper, Yeah. Because it's one thing to talk about, scientific achievements and breakthroughs and things like that, but it's also about understanding how this can actually change people's lives.
Absolutely.
It's not every day you come across a scientific discovery and you're just like, wait, they can do that?
No.
It's mind-blowing. But I think we need to, connect the dots a little bit for our listeners.
Yeah.
What does this mean for, the future of medicine?
So imagine a world where we can develop drugs with pinpoint accuracy,
Okay.
targeting specific proteins that are involved in certain diseases.
So we're not just, taking a sledgehammer, we're using a scalpel.
Exactly.
Okay.
Personalized medicine, designing drugs that are tailored to your specific protein makeup.
Wow.
So you can imagine a future where cancer treatments, they're not only more effective, but they have far fewer side effects.
That would be incredible. But AlphaFold's potential impact, it goes way beyond just medicine, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something that I think is on everyone's mind these days.
Okay.
Plastic pollution.
Right.
Choking our planet. It just doesn't break down.
Right.
But what if we could use nature to solve this problem?
You're talking about those plastic-eating enzymes that everyone's been talking about.
Exactly. So they exist, right? They're in nature.
Right.
You're just not very efficient. But with AlphaFold, we can now actually visualize their structure
Okay.
at this incredibly precise level.
And so by being able to see these things in such detail, does that mean scientists can then engineer them to be more efficient at breaking down the plastic?
Yeah, you got it.
Wow.
It's like giving them a turbo boost,
Right.
They can work faster, better at cleaning up this mess.
Okay.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Wow.
I mean, AlphaFold is being used to explore new biofuels, to design new materials with crazy properties.
Right.
It's even giving us a deeper understanding of the building blocks of life itself.
Okay, my mind is officially blown. We're talking about a tool that can potentially help us cure diseases, save the planet, and really just understand, the mysteries of life itself.
Yeah.
It's really no wonder that John Jumper was awarded the Nobel Prize in chemistry for this work.
Yeah. It's the ultimate recognition, right, in science.
Right.
And it was well-deserved. I mean, the Nobel Committee recognized that this wasn't just, incremental progress. This is a paradigm shift.
Right.
And how we understand these biological processes at their most fundamental level.
It's like he didn't just climb the mountain, he, teleported to the top.
Right.
But one of the things that's always impressed me about Jumper is his commitment to making this knowledge accessible
Oh, absolutely.
by everyone.
Huge advocate for open science.
Right.
He believes that scientific knowledge, it shouldn't be locked away,
Right.
in ivory towers.
Yeah.
It should be shared freely.
Right.
And that's exactly what they did with AlphaFold.
So they created this database, essentially, of all these different protein structures.
Yeah, massive database.
And it's available for anyone to use.
For free. Open access.
Wow.
So researchers, no matter where they are, what resources they have access to,
Right.
they can use this incredibly powerful tool
That's amazing.
to make their own discoveries.
Yeah.
It's about democratizing science.
Yeah. It's incredibly inspiring. Okay, so we've got this Nobel Prize winner. He's changed the world of biology.
Right.
What's next for John Jumper? Is he is he taking a break?
If you think John Jumper rests on his laurels, you don't know John Jumper.
Right. Of course not.
Always pushing the boundaries.
Oh, okay.
So still at DeepMind, leading his team to explore these new frontiers.
What could possibly be next after something like AlphaFold?
Well, you know how we talked about proteins, like these tiny little machines?
Right, yeah.
He's now focused on understanding how these machines interact with each other,
Okay.
how they form these really complex networks that basically like drive every process in our cells.
So it's like going from like understanding a single instrument to understanding like a whole orchestra?
A perfect analogy. He's creating like a social network map
Okay.
of the protein world,
Hmm.
mapping out all these interactions and, seeing how they influence everything from our health to the environment.
Right.
But it doesn't even stop there.
Oh, wow.
Jumper's team is working on using AI to design brand new proteins
Okay.
from scratch.
Wow.
Proteins with properties that we've never even seen before.
This is like science fiction is becoming reality.
Yeah.
It sounds like John Jumper is like writing the next chapter of biology.
Yeah.
And we're all just lucky enough to kind of be here to witness it in real time.
I know, it's pretty amazing.
But how does he see AI's role like evolving in the future of scientific discovery in general? So
Yeah.
we're really talking about AI like evolving from a tool to almost like the scientific partner in a way.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Jumper, he talks about this future where AI isn't just helping us analyze data, it's actually participating in the process of discovery itself.
Okay.
So imagine AI suggesting new experiments to run,
Wow.
identifying these hidden patterns that we might miss, even like formulating hypotheses based on all this data that it's processing.
So it really is like having this like super intelligent lab partner
Yeah.
just working alongside us constantly, pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
And that's what's so exciting about Jumper's work.
Yeah.
He's breaking down these traditional barriers between disciplines. You've got biologists, chemists, computer scientists.
Right.
All these people coming together, and they're speaking the shared language of AI to explore the mysteries of life.
It's like he's creating this whole new scientific language
Exactly.
that everyone can understand.
Yeah, and with his commitment to this open science idea,
Yeah.
he's making sure that everyone can participate.
Yeah.
Whether you're, a researcher who's been doing this for years, or you're a student who's just, curious and wants to learn more.
Right. Right.
Everyone have that opportunity.
It's incredibly inspiring to see someone who's not only doing this groundbreaking work, but also really dedicated to making sure it benefits everyone.
Absolutely.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive into the world of John Jumper and AlphaFold,
Yeah.
what's the key message that you hope our listeners take away from all of this?
I think the biggest thing is just realizing that we're on the edge of this whole new era of scientific discovery.
Okay.
And John Jumper is, he's one of the people leading the charge.
Mm-hmm.
He's showing us what's possible when you combine, that human ingenuity with the power of AI.
Right.
And it's not just about, just advancing knowledge for the sake of it.
Right.
It's about using it to solve real world problems.
Right. From tackling diseases to climate change. I mean, the possibilities really are pretty mind-blowing.
Absolutely.
It makes you realize like how quickly things are changing around us and how important it is for us to, stay curious and engaged.
Stay curious.
Yeah.
That's the key. And who knows what's next?
Yeah.
What's that next incredible discovery?
What other mysteries are out there waiting to be solved?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, maybe this deep dive will inspire someone listening right now to embark on their own scientific journey.
That would be amazing.
That's awesome. Well, until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep.
Here.
Thanks for listening to Mythos AI. Stay tuned for more concise insights. And remember to hit the like button and subscribe for future episodes.